So, for the 2 decades after he was retired, Jeremy Roenick was being considered for the Hockey Hall of Fame in numerous ways. But I think what happened, ladies and gentlemen, the controversies that follow him during his playing and broadcasting career were seen to be haphazard towards him getting in. Now, he was always had a big mouth, and he got involved in the different things during his career, most notably the rivalry between them, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Colorado Avalanche. It was Roenick's willingness to talk that got him to a famous trade of quotations in 1996. In the 96 Western Conference semifinals between the Avalanche and the Blackhawks, after a controversial game in which Roenick was tripped on a breakaway and no penalty shot was called, Patrick Roy said, "I would have saved it anyway." Roenick responded in another interview, "I'd like to know where Patrick was in Game 3, a game in which Roenick had scored on Patrick Roy on a similar breakaway, probably up trying to get his jock out of the rafters." When later asked about Roenick's comments, Roy retorted, "I cannot really hear what Jeremy says because I got my 2 Stanley Cup rings plugging my ears." So he was going to be considered for the Hall of Fame, but again, the early 2000s kind of hurt it. He did get in this year, but like I said, it's almost like a last chance thing. Not to say it was a pity induction because he deserves to be there, but I'll let you know what happened and you make your decision. Roenick's openness, he always had his world on his sleeve, as we say, has often led to controversy. During the 2005 NHL lockout, he addressed certain fans that perceive NHL players as being spoiled. Roenick told these fans to kiss my ass and accused them of being jealous. He stated further he would prefer that those fans who shared that perception no longer attend NHL games or watch them on TV. Afterwards, Roenick felt his remarks had been taken out of context by ESPN, even though it was a direct quote. Now, following the loss of the 2005 season, a labor dispute, he found himself at the odds with the Flyers, which he was playing with that year. He claimed to be suffering from concussion despite the Flyers' doctors having cleared him following his exit physical. Under the terms of the NHL collective bargaining agreement, injured players from the previous season were still to be paid during a lockout. Roenick's contract was $7.5 million in 2005. At several trips to the different doctors, the Flyers and Roenick finally settled on a payment between $1.09 million and $1.5 million for games he would have missed due to post-concussion syndrome if there had been no lockout. Now, Roenick was eventually suspended for one game during the 2004 season for throwing a water bottle at an official. Now, Roenick's penchant for stirring controversy also saw him claiming in 2006 that USA Hockey had blackballed him and was being disrespectful by not including him on the American national team for the 2006 Winter Olympics in turn. He claimed, "I'm a lot better player than my points indicate." He had 6 goals and 7 assists in 32 games at the time when he made that comment. Now, in May 2009, Roenick claimed Chris Chelios, then a member of the Detroit Red Wings, was receiving less playing time because Mike Babcock, Detroit's head coach, was biased against American players. Chelios and Babcock dismissed the allegations, stating there was no tension between them. Now, Roenick returned to questioning American Olympic selections prior to the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. During an interview with a Toronto-based station AM 640, Roenick publicly questioned the selection of Chris Drury to the Olympic team. Roenick felt Drury was not as good for the team as Scott Gomez or TJ Oshie, who were not selected, in terms of on-ice play. Roenick also felt Drury's main role was to be the leader to young Americans, and that Mike Modano was a better choice to fill that role for the Olympic squad. Drury scored a key goal in the team in the U.S. Win over Canada during the prelim round, and Roenick later issued a public apology to Drury. Now, on February 8, 2006, the Star-Ledger reported Roenick had been identified as one of several NHL players implicated in Operation Slapshot, an operation created with the intent to uncover a nationwide gambling ring. Other notable names involved in this investigation was former Phoenix Coyotes assistant coach and former Tampa Bay Lightning head coach Rick Tocchet, who was also an All-Star player, and the wife of Wayne Gretzky, Janet Jones. Roenick was required to provide an affidavit to the New Jersey authorities for allegedly placing bets. It was the second time Roenick had been investigated for his gambling. In 2004, he came under investigation after paying a Florida sports gambling operation between $50,000 and $100,000 for betting tips and services. However, at the time, the NHL did not prohibit players from betting on sports other than hockey, and Roenick stated he stopped gambling after a warning from Philadelphia Flyers GM Bobby Clarke. Yeah, that's a role model for you. Now, January 25th, 2017, he was arrested in New York after police discovered he was driving with a suspended license during a routine traffic stop. Roenick claimed New York's Department of Motor Vehicles was sending mail to an address he did not live at since '89. He commented on the experience stating, "I'm out 750, not only my time, plus I got arrested. Plus I sat in jail cell with cokeheads. Plus I sat in a courtroom with real criminals. I've never been arrested before in my life." Now, on December 23rd, 2019, NBC suspended Roenick indefinitely for making inappropriate comments about co-workers Katrin Tappan, Patrick Sharp, and Anson Carter during an interview on the Spitting Chicklets podcast. The comments included joking about having a threesome with Tappan. Okay. NBC fired Roenick after suspension ended in February 2020. Now, in July 2020, he filed a lawsuit against NBC Sports for wrongful termination, arguing that he was discriminated against as a straight white man and as a supporter of President Donald Trump. The lawsuit alleged that NBC Sports had committed a contractual breach by firing him without a proper cause and by not providing Roenick a reasonable opportunity to address the incident. Now, no doubt the Hockey Hall of Fame, he deserves to be there, but like I said, you can't stop a player from getting in for being Jeremy Roenick, and he deserved it. Now, the native of Boston, 6'1", 201, mostly played center, Chicago, Phoenix, Philly, LA, and the Sharks. Played an 8th overall pick, which is a steal for the Blackhawks in '88. Wrapped up his career in 2009. And his website, of course, check it out at roenicklife.com. Now, for Team USA, won a big silver in '91. That was the Lindros. Year, of course, and won a silver in Salt Lake City behind Team Canada in that gold medal game. Now, of course, came to major problems with Chicago and had his best there. Now, he was always one to give a lot back to the fans, and even when he's giving back to them, Roenick was better known for his mouth, always willing to speak his mind. He was always a popular interview for reporters, only a few players who spoke from the heart and never shied away from taking on the heads of the game, whether it was NHL commissioner or the leadership of the NHL Players Association. So, I mean, being outspoken is an American way. It's an American tradition since the start of time, but he could back it up, ladies and gentlemen. Now, a former native of Morristown, New Jersey, Roenick and his wife Tracy have 2 children, daughter Brandy and son Brett, and he live in Scottsdale. Tracy Roenick is an avid equestrian rider, owner, and trainer who earned a spot on the U.S. equestrian team long list in 2001. Now, a noted Republican, and he also supported Marco Rubio's campaign that year. Now, awards and achievements, again, QMJHL second All-Star team in '89, Tournament All-Star at the World Juniors in '89, and leading scorer, 9-time NHL All-Star games, 91 to 94 inclusive, 99, 2000, 2002, 2003, 2004, Canada Cup All-Tournament team, NHL skills competition record for shooting accuracy in 2004, 500 career goal, November 10, 2007, and his second all-time American point producer in the World Championship history, behind Jordan Schroeder in 2010. Now, broke in with Thayer Academy, where he played 2 seasons, eventually ended up with the Hull Olympics in '89 after being drafted. Played 20 games in his initial stint with Chicago in '89, and of course made it to the final with them in 1990. Now, he scored a bunch of goals, scored 53, 50, 46 back-to-back in 92, 94, which was his big 3 years with 107 and 107 points, 125 points, 65 goals total in the 92 campaign. Now, wasn't scared to take a penalty, ladies and gentlemen. 1,463 minutes in penalties. I think he had almost, 6 or 7 consecutive seasons with 100 minutes in penalties or more, but of course lost that season. Scored his 500 goal with San Jose in '08. The playoffs, strong totals again as well, 53, 69, 122, and 154 games. Played for the United States at the World Juniors, the World Championships, the Canada Cup, and the Olympics with a big 23 goals, 25 assists, for 48 points in 41 games. Now, played 100 games in NHL, scored 1,000 points, 500 goals, and again, tremendous career. He's 1,363 games as of this writing, is quite a top. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is top 54 ever of all time, which is just tremendous. Recently, Pans by Anze Kopitar, and so for him not being in a Hall of Fame wasn't a good thing to have. But my God, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm going to start a team, I'm going to have 3 players on it: LaFontaine, Roenick, and Mike Modano, if I'm looking for an All-American team. And he was probably a breakthrough American athlete because he was himself. I don't respect him for his support for Trump. I don't respect him for certain ways he goes on, but I respect him as a player, so that's enough. His political machinations off the ice don't really mean anything, do you? Because Bobby Orr and Esposito's coming in support of Trump. Like I said, I'm not going to be part of supporting anybody who supports Trump, but I support him as a player because, again, he made the 1990s a probably top 10 player of the 1990s, and that's saying a lot because you had Gretzky, Messi, and Lemieux. So Jeremy Roenick, well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, but just a little story of maybe why he's not in the wasn't in the Hall of Fame before. Not saying he was bad as Pete Rose, but like I said, NHL is different because we put in gamblers, don't we? I mean, he was connected with gambling for sure. And was he bad for the NHL? No. Was he good for the NHL? Yes. Was he good for Olympic and U.S. hockey? Yes. Because everybody says, give me a Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy Roenick is his own brand. You say Jeremy Roenick and you have an eye to your head, hard worker, controversial, but when the chips are down, I wanted Jeremy Roenick. The only player I can compare him with from a major league level, and bear with me here, not throw out the gambling, but for the strength of character is Kenny Stabler. I know it's a weird reference, but Jeremy Roenick would have fit really good with the Raiders of the 70s and 80s because it's a man that knew himself more than others knew him. And like I said, you can't say that he wasn't dedicated to hockey. Hockey was his life and still is his life. So Jeremy, congratulations. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here with our Vintage Hockey Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.